My name is Emily Carter, and I was 12 years old when my life broke into pieces. It was a quiet Saturday afternoon in Rose Hill, North Carolina. I was sitting on the living room floor, building a puzzle, when my parents called me into the kitchen. I didn't know that 5 minutes later, my childhood would be over. "We have something important to tell you," my mom said, eyes shifting to my dad and then back to me. They didn't hold hands. They didn't smile. They looked like strangers standing side by side. "We're getting a divorce," my dad said flatly. I stared at them, waiting for a punchline. When none came, my heart started to pound. "And we've both moved on," my mom added. "We found people who make us happy." "Already?" I whispered. "But you're still married." My mom gave a forced smile. "We didn't want to tell you until it was certain. I'm going to marry Richard. You'll like him." "And I'm marrying Tamara," my dad chimed in. "It's for the best, Em." I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just felt cold all over, like someone had dumped a bucket of ice water over my head. Everything I thought was solid had just crumbled. I was 12. I still believed in bedtime stories, hot chocolate, and the idea that families stayed together. That belief ended right there, in that kitchen. A week after their announcement, my mom packed our things and moved us into Richard Blake's house across town. It was bigger than our old place, sleek, modern, cold. The walls were white, the furniture spotless, and everything smelled like citrus-scented cleaner. And then I met her. Savannah Blake, Richard's daughter. Same age as me. Long blonde hair, icy blue eyes, and a glare sharp enough to slice glass. "So you're the charity case," she said the first time we met. "Try not to touch my stuff." She walked past me like I was a shadow. My mom didn't say anything. She just smiled and whispered, "She'll warm up to you." She never did. Savannah was everything I wasn't: polished, popular, and cruel in the quietest ways. She'd laugh with her friends about my hand-me-down clothes. She'd erase my name from the chore chart. Once, she even told Richard the first stole her bracelet. I hadn't even seen the thing. Instead of defending me, my mom blamed me. "Why can't you just get along with her, Emily?" she said. "Savannah's adjusting, too." Adjusting? Savannah had her own room, her own bathroom, and her dad's constant attention. I had a suitcase in the corner and a lump in my throat that never seemed to go away. And worst of all, my mom changed. She wasn't the same woman who used to tuck me in at night and braid my hair before school. Now she was always smiling for Richard, always taking Savannah's side. If I said something, I was being difficult. If I got upset, I was acting out. I felt like a guest in my own life. Then the weekends came, and I had to switch homes. I thought maybe, just maybe, things would be better at my dad's. I was wrong. My dad's new house was smaller and darker, tucked behind a row of half-built condos. Tamara, his new wife, greeted me like I was a package that arrived 2 days late. "You'll sleep on the fold-out in the study," she said, brushing past me. We weren't really expecting company this weekend. Company. I wasn't company. I was his daughter. Dad didn't say anything. He just ruffled my hair, like I was some dog he hadn't seen in a while. Tamara was nothing like my mom. Where my mom tried too hard to please, Tamara didn't bother. She had sharp cheekbones, sharper words, and no interest in pretending to like me. She didn't yell. She didn't curse. She just made me feel invisible. Like I didn't belong. Like I was always in the way. Sunday morning, she handed me a cup of tea. It smelled flowery and strange. "I made this myself," she said. "Try something other than that sugary garbage your grandmother lets you drink." I paused. I have a severe allergy to chamomile." She rolled her eyes. "It's not chamomile. It's organic. Drink it." I hesitated. But my dad was watching from the couch, and I didn't want to seem dramatic. So I took a small sip. It took less than a minute for my throat to tighten. My skin broke into hives. My vision blurred. I dropped the cup and gasped, trying to speak, but no sound came out. Tamara just stood there, arms folded, not moving. Dad panicked. Called 911. At the hospital, they said I was lucky. Minutes later, I might have gone into full anaphylactic shock. Tamara said I overreacted, that I must have made it up to get attention. Dad believed her. He told me, "You need to stop trying to sabotage this family, Emily." I didn't respond. I couldn't. Something inside me had already shut down. And when I got back to my grandmother's house the next week, I begged her not to send me back to either of them ever again. My grandmother, Margaret Carter, opened the door before I even knocked. Her soft gray curls were tucked under a scarf, her warm brown eyes full of concern. "Oh, baby," she whispered, pulling me into her arms. "You're home now." I broke down right there on her porch. All the fear, the confusion, the anger, I let it pour out in heaving sobs as she held me tight. That night, I slept in the same bed I'd used for sleepovers since I was a toddler. She made my favorite dinner, grilled cheese and tomato soup. She tucked me in with a quilt she'd sewn herself. For the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't feel afraid to close my eyes. By the next morning, Margaret had already made up her mind. "I'm calling a lawyer," she said over breakfast. "No one's going to mistreat my granddaughter again. Not while I'm alive." It took months. Court visits, home evaluations, statements from doctors, school counselors, and even neighbors who'd seen the way my parents neglected me. Eventually, custody was transferred to Grandma Margaret. She became my legal guardian. And everything changed. I started doing well in school again. I made real friends. I joined the drama club, something I never would have had the confidence to do before. Margaret never missed a performance. She clapped the loudest, every time. She didn't just save me, she raised me. Taught me how to cook, how to sew, how to forgive without forgetting. She never said a bad word about my parents. She didn't have to. Her love said everything. For 6 years, I had peace. And then, just after my 18th birthday, it all fell apart again. I was 18 when Grandma Margaret died. It happened quietly. A heart attack in her sleep. One minute she was reading on the porch. The next she was gone. The funeral was small. I wore black and didn't speak. My parents came. So did Savannah and Tamara. None of them cried. After the service, the lawyer, Mr. Hayes, called me into his office. "She left everything to you," he said. "House, savings, assets. Total value, $2.4 million. I blinked. "All of it." He nodded. "She trusted you." Word spread fast. Within days, my mother called. "We need to talk," she said. "That money belongs to the family." Then my dad, "You wouldn't have anything if it weren't for us." They both demanded a share. I refused. They sent texts, voicemails, even letters. "You're being selfish." "She would have wanted us to have some. We raised you." But they didn't. Margaret did. Then Savannah messaged me. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." Nathan, my half-brother, was the only one who didn't ask for money. He just sent one text. "I'm sorry." I wanted to help him, but I knew if I gave anything, they'd never stop. So I stayed silent. And I kept everything. A month later, I came home to find my front door slightly open. Inside, nothing was stolen, but drawers were pulled, cabinets ajar, papers scattered. I checked the security footage. My father. He had a spare key. One he wasn't supposed to have anymore. I called the police. They filed a report, but did nothing else. "Family matter," they said. 2 days later, a letter arrived. Legal threats. My mother claimed emotional damages, demanded $500,000. Tamara filed a separate claim, saying I owed her 4 medical costs after my allergy episode. All lies. My lawyer, Mr. Hayes, built a solid case. We filed a restraining order. I changed the locks, installed new cameras. Savannah posted online that I stole from them. People commented. Some believed her. I didn't respond. I let them dig their own holes. Weeks passed. Then one night, Nathan showed up at my door. "I left them," he said. I couldn't keep watching. He handed me a flash drive. It's all there. Messages, emails, recordings. I watched every file. Tamara mocking my allergy. My mom planning the inheritance claim. My dad discussing the fake break-in. Proof. My lawyer smiled. They're finished. We press charges. Fraud, harassment, attempted theft. They settled quietly. Signed a non-contact agreement. Dropped all claims. They disappeared. And I was free. I stayed in the house Margaret left me. Quiet mornings. Late nights on the porch. Her books still lined the shelves. Her quilt still covered my bed. I didn't change much. I enrolled at Rose Hill College. Majored in psychology. I wanted to understand people, how they hurt, how they heal. I volunteered at the youth center on weekends. Kids with stories like mine. Abandonment. Abuse. Loneliness. I listened. I helped. I made sure they felt seen. The money stayed mostly untouched. I used it for school, for groceries, for repairs. But I didn't splurge. I didn't run. Margaret taught me that peace is built, not bought. Nathan and I stayed in touch. He visited once a month. We didn't talk about the past. We just existed in the same room, quietly, safely. One night he said, "You deserved better." We all knew it. I nodded. I have better now. He smiled. Years passed. I graduated. Opened a small counseling practice downtown. Hung Margaret's photo on the wall. People came. Broken, scared, uncertain. Just like I had been. And I helped them find the pieces. Not because I owed it, but because I understood. Because someone once saved me. And I was ready to pass it on.